Every now and then there's a video that changes everything about how you understand the golf swing. This, my friends, is it. Today I'm going to help you with ball compression, and it's a topic that has been discussed so many times, and I'm sure you've seen many videos on it, but today you won't ever have seen anything quite like I'm going to talk about. Let's get into it. I've spent many an hour on this mat talking to you guys about the proliferation of the inside out bowing of the left wrist in an effort to try and hit a draw around to the target. Unfortunately, so often when you're trying to do the old tucky bow inside out move, you end up losing a lot of your attack angle. You end up having path lines that are so nasty that the next port of call from that place is Shanksville, Tennessee. Today I want to talk to you about how we create compression on the golf ball, we line the path up, and we start to get some dynamic loft back on the golf club. Creating down is almost going against flight, isn't it? As we start to create this compression into the floor, that compression and down into the ground, mentally it makes us feel like the golf ball should be falling out of the sky, because ultimately the more we're hitting down, look how that loft angle is starting to point down to the ground. When that loft angle is pointing down to the ground, obviously you're now feeling more squash on the golf ball, and the only reason why you're feeling that is because the ball has felt less loft. It's got nothing to do with the squash into the floor. It has everything to do with the squash of the loft of the golf club. It has less loft, that is it. By making the shaft lean more forwards, as many golfers see it, it doesn't actually lean forwards at all. That's not where the energy is going, but that's another topic which I'm going to leave for today. I want to talk to you a little bit more about the high to low handle action through strike that will create this compression and ball flight. When we create a path line that has been pushed by many of swinging in to out, when the club is going from inside to outside as people see it, this handle height in delivery is very much going from a low orientation to a high orientation. So you can see on the screen, that's where the club head handle came into the golf ball at, and this is where the club handle came out at, low to high. Now, when the handle is going low to high, what's happening is it's starting to stand the club shaft up. It's starting to stand the club shaft up, because the only way the handle can become high after contact is if the arms have raised up to produce that inside out path. If we were creating a track of the handle that stayed at the same height on both sides of the swing, can you see how the handle height would stay much more uniform from pre-impact to exit? And actually we would see this handle and the shaft pitch start to match up a little bit more to the one that we set up with. So the one that we set up with, this angle in here, is the one that everyone talks about when they talk about humping the ball, early extension, and all of those terminologies. That early extension is really a symptom of how you have gone about shifting your handle into out to try to get that path line more into out. Because the minute you push the handle from closer to us to further away, that transition point is that handle has stood up. And if that handle has stood up, it's now made the shaft more vertical, which, when we've set up to the golf ball with the handle here, and then we've returned it back here, the only option we've got is to get closer to the golf ball, And if my upper body starts to move closer to the golf ball, my bum will have to tuck under to counterbalance. And then you start to feel the pressure on the toes, and before you know it, you're in a right pickle. Therefore, when you're pushing the path inside out, what it's created is a set of ingredients of how that golf club gets unloaded, and that unload is down. When that unload is down, you've got a big job on your hands, a really, really big job on your hands, because what you now need to do is you now need to get that handle lower through strike without the club head dumping itself into the floor. You need to get that handle lower through strike and yet still collect the golf ball off of the mat without feeling like you're going to run into the ground. And so I did a drill with the ball on the high tee, with a high tee like this, which allows us to feel how the handle can stay down and the handle of the club head can stay high. So when I then start to feel the same ingredients, it allows me to feel how much lower I can get my handle, keep me in posture without the club head unloading itself downwards. If I can control the height of the head, when I start to feel my handle stay low to low, or same height to same height, all of a sudden I've now got myself in a situation where how that golf club unloads is crucial to keeping the compression on the ball. But not only that, when I start to push that handle down and I start to unload it, look at the shape in my left wrist. Look how my left wrist has got more cup in it and not so much bow in it. And when that's the case, all of a sudden you start to get way more pressure on the handle. You get the handle going more high to low. And as you do that, you start to line the loft angle up, which allows you to get down, dynamic loft, straight and high. I'm out of breath. But you can understand that this material direction and height of the handle and its height has a huge impact on where the face is pointing, which is why I talk about, with that video up there, that pressure on the handle and the unloading of the club head that will allow you the downstrike. If you're tired of paying too much for your premium leather golf gloves, head over to gxgolfgloves.com. These are gloves trusted by tour players and elite amateurs alike. Use my code GOODCOACHING to receive 10% off your next order. Go try them out. You won't be disappointed. And the ball flight that's going to match it all up and hit you those career-defining golf shots. There's been a lot in there. You might want to go watch that a few times. Thanks so much for watching. Do consider subscribing while you are here. And I think you'll find that, my friends, is good coaching.